Hello, fellow risk takers, and welcome to Careers in Finance. My name's Andrew Stotz, and I'll be your host as we explore careers in finance and how to build a happy career in finance. I want to welcome everybody to the show. The show is sponsored by Valuation Masterclass Bootcamp for those people who want to build a competitive advantage in company valuation. Today, it's 6 p.m. here in beautiful Bangkok, Thailand. I won't say it's necessarily beautiful because it's raining right now, but I just managed to get out of a massive traffic jam to get back in time, kick on my computer, and join you all for Careers in Finance. So welcome, everybody. I'm excited today because we have a special guest. And where he's at right now, it is hot and humid, he said to me. So I'm going to bring him in now, and his name is Mahesh Deshpande. And Mahesh, welcome. Welcome to the show. Good
Welcome.
to see you.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be on your show. I'm
Yeah,
Mahesh Deshpande. I'm based in Tokyo. I'm a person of Indian origin. I've been here for 28 years.
that's already an interesting story. I think people would like to know, how the heck did you end up in Tokyo, and how did you end up being there for so long?
Yeah, let me start with my childhood, and then I will come to that story of coming to Tokyo. In childhood, I have never heard of Japan. We, we knew rest of the world, but not much of Japan. I come from Deshpande. Desh means India actually. Desh means country, and Pandey is as it's like a religious name. We are in a business of nation and business of God.
Mm.
Two flags there, one for the nation, one for the God, and so basically we are a landlord family, and so in the childhood, we were treated like kings. So I I didn't want to go to the school actually. So I didn't go to the school because everything is in a small town. Everything is run by Deshpande. The- My father was lawyer. We had seven lawyers in our family. We had agriculture land, and we were on the board of temples and schools and whatnot. So I thought, what is the point in studying? Actually, we are running the school, right? So I didn't go to the school, but one fine day, my father took me to the school, and then after that, I was very good in mathematics. My mother was she was having exceptional IQ, so I got that from my mother. And my father, he was very calm and composed, unfazed. So I got the EQ from my father. And then I started, getting almost full marks without any tuition, without proper, attention in the school because I had a tremendous IQ from the mother. Then I got into uh, engi- engineering college because I got 100 out of 100 marks in mathematics.
Mm.
I got the at that time sought after branch electronics engineering at second tier engineering college in Nagpur, and it's part of Maharashtra state, which Mumbai is the capital,
Mm.
uh, and Nagpur is second capital. And then because of that college, the life has become so easy because the CEO of Boeing, CEO of Airbus, they were our college alumni. So they they are now retired, probably 20 or 30 years elder than me. So because of that, everything was very easy. After that, I got a job in software in Mumbai at a company called Tata. Tata is the largest conglomerate in India, Tata Unisys, and they actually sent me to Nihon Unisys, which is a Japanese joint venture. There was Unisys Corporation in the US and Tata
Mm.
Unisys in India and Nihon Unisys in Japan, and they sent me as a programmer to Japan. That was in '95. Similar humid conditions,
Mm.
July, and, and that was 28 years ago.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Before we continue, I just want to welcome everybody. We're going to have some fun discussions today with Mahesh, and just to just go through a couple of people that I see here. Devashish, nice to see you. Welcome. Please ask questions. And there's Momin. Momin is in Egypt, and We have Ashwin here in Bangkok, and welcome, Ashwin. And also, we've got Saidat. There we go, in real estate. Yeah. All right. And we have Hillary, who is in Nigeria. So good to see you, Hillary. And Ashish says hi. Welcome, everybody. So I just want to welcome everybody here and feel free to ask any questions. I'm going to be asking a lot of questions, but if you have any questions, feel free to ask. So let's talk about. So you arrived in Japan in 1995,
Yeah,
and Japan is just coming off of its huge bubble
yeah, at
and
that time.
slowly deflating from that point. What was it like in those days in Japan?
As I said, I am from a very rural background, so I just wanted to get some job outside India. And actually, there are stories in the IT industries like the guy who was supposed to be coming to Tokyo actually disappeared, and he appeared, reappeared in US with another incarnation. So those stories used to happen at that time. So I went to the office, and they picked me up. Okay, so we have a situation here. Can you go? I said, okay, let's go, because after that we'll see. My ultimate dream was to go to America, but I said let's go to Japan, and then from there, as a second phase, let's try to go to America from there. But let's have some movement here from Mumbai, out of Mumbai. So that's how it happened. Actually, it happened suddenly.
Mm,
Before that, I had given interviews with the Unisys headquarters in Los Angeles, and it didn't all work out. And there was some assignments in London as well. But who will take a guy who cannot speak English also properly? So that was not working out. So in Japan, nobody anyway they don't know English actually.
mm.
So it worked out.
Definitely.
Yeah.
One of the questions from Dave Sheesh already has said, "What level of Japanese proficiency is required in your field?"
Yeah, very high level, almost level one. This is the tops level, but I have not passed level one till now. I am only level two, which is the second best. But as I said, I come from a small village, so I can get along without actually passing the examination. And
Mm,
one of the key to my success is a lot of good people. Actually, my college seniors were always there, so they used to push my case. And see, the alumni which makes you great, right? The college
mm,
was established some 70 years ago, and I'm 50, so there was already a legacy of 20 plus 20, 40 years when I
mm.
graduated.
So tell us about what you do now, so that we can then connect the dots of where you started from and where you are now.
Yeah, just to backtrack a bit, actually, after Tata University, I left that job in 2 years in 97, and I joined Crédit Agricole, which is the largest French investment bank. And I joined in 97. I went on to become head of IT for Asia in 2003, 6 years later. And 2003 to 2007, I was the uh, head of IT for Asia, covering Japan, Korea, and uh, many other countries. And I used to report into the CEO at one point as the strategies for Asia for e-brokerage. The futures option department was based in Chicago. Chicago
Mm,
is Mecca. The bank headquarters was in Paris. I was reporting into Chicago. Because of that success, then I thought of entrepreneurship, and I started my company. And as I said, actually, my life in a nutshell is a result of help from good people. So I define God as good people, opportunities, and demand supply. So everything worked in my favor all the time, and even today it is working out. So at that time, I was flying business class, going to Chicago, London for all this, blah blah blah, C level meetings, and I'm a programmer, so C plus plus naturally comes to my tongue. Actually, I was a C level executive at the time, and over the dinners and all, the people used to say you are actually such a guy who are handling Asia and you have large team, handling large budget. Why don't you start your company? Do the same thing. We'll invest in your company. So normally people start startups and they have to really toil hard for investment. But in my case, it was the opposite. So investment was ready, and then I had to quit my job. It took some courage for me to quit that big job actually. But
Mm.
finally, in February, I started this company called Nozomi Infotech. Nozomi is a registered software vendor to Tokyo Stock Exchange, Osaka Stock Exchange, Tokyo Commodity Exchange, Tokyo Financial Exchange. We have built a front middle back platform for software platform for equity derivatives, FX, and commodities. And our clients are large investment banks like HSBC, ABN AMRO. So this whole thing is coming from the friendship that I built in Credit Agricole, the French investment bank, and my circle, and the kind of the carry that I got as being a C-level executive working globally. So the ingredients were actually brought in by the French investment bank at that point, and I'm really thankful to the management of the bank that they gave me opportunity. And I come from India, and then there is local Japanese staff, and then there is headquarter French staff. Right? So among them, they selected me, which is big trust on my capabilities, and that
Mm.
the whole thing actually resulted into my personality being outward. Otherwise, I was shy and a person from a rural background and couldn't speak English also. Still, my kids are there sitting beside. They always point out at
Uh,
my very very rural Indian English.
well,
This
it
is
sounds okay to me.
yeah.
And did you learn French at all, or is that
Yeah,
not
I tried.
necessary?
I tried.
Yeah.
Uh, but by that time, I had become lazy actually. When I came to Japan, there was a fire in terms of learning different things. At that time, there was a lot of responsibility. I was red-eyed. The investment banking doesn't stop. I think Asia starts, and then Europe starts, and US starts, and then again Asia starts. These are excuses. I would have made efforts. And then,
Mm.
it was easier for me to at that time to learn French also.
I actually worked for Credit Agricole many years ago. Also,
Wow, we are same
yeah,
alumni.
yeah. But uh, I think I kind of forget. Um, I think that they bought a lot of brokers in Asia
Yeah.
and businesses, and I worked for a company called WI Carr.
Yeah, I was working in WK.
Yep, yep. I was head of research in 1995 or so in Thailand at that time, just
Oh,
about the time.
19. I joined in 1997, so we were part of the same team actually,
Yeah.
and that was
Um,
taken over by Credit Agricole. It became Credit Agricole Indo Suez. Hey, it was
so
taken over by Indo Suez and then
That's right.
Credit Agricole Indo Suez.
That's it. Indosuez. That's because yeah, originally
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
one. I I see a question here from Sidit who says, "When do you realize that you're a finance person, not an engineer type of person?"
Yeah, my life is actually not a role model. I am a process oriented, a very rural kind of guy. So whatever came to me, I didn't have goals, right? I said I didn't want to go to school. Uh, and then we have this ego of being Deshpande, to just run the country, run the god,
Hmm.
and whatnot. But having said that, my parents were highly religious and they used to be very methodical. So I actually learned from their personality to be very, very process oriented, very hardworking. Yes. Uh, at one point, they used to have two meals only on Sunday because every day they had some of them. We have a lot of gods in India. So every god had one day from Monday to Saturday. So that kind of a bringing up, and then we have a lot of agricultural land. So our father, even though we were the owner of that land, he used to involve me in all the agricultural processes. And actually, our relatives used to shout at him, say that what are you doing with kids? They should be going to bigger cities like Mumbai and have some IT classes. But I think my father knew that this is going to happen if he gave me that very difficult training, like a military training. That something extraordinary will happen. but I was very angry with my father all the time for doing a lot of hardship with me.
Mm. And tell us about your business now. What's going on with that, and what's the future look like for your business?
Yeah, after that, I have started another company which is into algo trading, which is called Macfin, and that is taking off, and we have a lot of big players using it. Then I was part of the founding team of a school called Global Indian International School. We have that in Bangkok as well.
Mm.
Uh, and many things actually. In April, I was called by the special advisor to the Prime Minister of Japan for his views, for my views on the investment that they're doing in India. And so they're doing huge investment for infrastructure. Uh, so a lot of things on my plate actually. I have my business, but apart from that, once you get into entrepreneurship and at a global level in a financial industry, a lot of things can happen to you. Uh, and and the entrepreneurship is mainly delegation actually. You build on, when you get a capital, you build on teams and kind of grows.
And you've lasted for a long time in your business. What would you attribute your success to?
The complexity of the financial industry is the main. This guy HSBC, ABN AMRO, they are giants. They can easily replace us. But what happens is the kind of complexity that we handle, and it is into real time trading, and there is something about the software that we produce, that it's a rock solid software. So normally the IT managers want to go home at 6 o'clock, right? So they don't want to take any chances if things are running in the core. But there are all the blah blah blah, kind of lectures from the head office that we need to have standard vendors, standard process, this the bag, and big IT vendors. But countries like Japan, it's not that easy. They try to replace our software with in-house, but they have failed 2 or 3 times.
Mm.
That's the reason why I keep on going. And software is like public works department. So the road is never complete. So once you have a new road, you have some gas pipeline, this water works, this that. So software is changing every day, and that's the place where actually the fear can play into even the client's mind, even if it is giant. That because they have to be liable for all the penalty. The legal system is very strong in the modern financial industry, and the government actually comes in and it can get into a newspaper. So that's a reputation risk also involved. So if the software is doing well, and then it is at a reasonably good cost. I mean, they are ready to pay higher cost also for a
Mm.
good software. There is no reason for it to change, and if it is maintained every day properly.
And are the coders outside of Japan, or where are the people that are doing
They are
most of the
mainly
coding?
India and Japan, but
Right.
we also have in other countries in Asia.
And I've had a lot of people that I've interviewed over the years that have had trouble, trying to implement software, design software, code software. And I'm just wondering, like, what advice would you give for people that want to get more advanced in software, but it's hard. It's hard to find good programmers and good people that can really logically construct. And then you end up in a project that goes on and on and on and never resolves. What's your key to being successful in software?
Actually, my boss, who is now a chief operating officer of London, he was very stingy. Otherwise, as I said, I come from a rural background, so I was very generous, this, that. But when you're coding for an investment bank, this cannot. He used to fight for 1 millimeter of a combo box. Okay, if the character is getting cut, and recently I got a US visa, and then there, I had a visa for 20 years, but there was just a renewal thing, and their website is like coded by ambassador son or somebody. Some fields are on the left side, then the right side, and the error goes on the up or down. So I suddenly remembered my boss. He used to yell in front of 100 people. What is this happening? You're cutting half a character. So basically, as I said, it is the people around me who made me actually. There were a lot of good people, and when I talk to young students in colleges or in IT companies, they think that I'm blabbering actually, but it is real. What they hear, and it is real also. There is a lot of politics going on, but it doesn't mean that there are no good people. If you try and if you get good bosses, stick to him for your life actually, uh, because they are very rare to find.
Yeah,
Yeah, very rare to find.
that's
They,
true.
yeah,
I think about my first boss in 1993 in Thailand,
yeah.
and you know, we only worked together for about 6 months, and then he went to Vietnam and he set up a investment bank there. And but he and I just had dinner together the other day, and we've maintained a friendship for 30 years. And so
Wow.
one of the things I never thought about when I was a young person, I just didn't think about the relationships in that way.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I was just kind of like, yeah, okay, I had a lot of
Yeah,
friends and stuff, but
yeah,
I didn't realize that when you're finding good people that you're working with, build
yeah,
a deep relationship, build a
yeah,
great relationship. That relationship can last for a lifetime.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And magic starts happening as soon as you spend more time. Actually, then it's both ways, but more mainly from the top. Actually,
Yeah. We've got some other questions here. So first of all, let's welcome uh, Fawin says namaste. There you
namaste.
go. Yeah. And Helai says hi. And
Hi,
yep, we also have Toluwase out of Nigeria there. And we've got Ashutosh. Good morning. All right, we
good
got a
morning.
question from Moment. He says a lot of young people wonder what they that they are all over the place and don't know where to go with their careers. Yeah, I mean, it is interesting that I would say that the COVID generation that graduated around the COVID time, they're struggling, and they have been struggling since graduation. I'm wondering, like, what kind of advice would you give someone that's kind of wandering and not yet found what they're looking for?
Yeah, actually, my advice is going to be from my background. Said you have to be process oriented in if you're working in IT or finance. This is fast moving industries, so you have to skill up. And I'm not saying that you don't have to change it up, but at one point you have to decide that you cannot change too many jobs. If you're in sales, that's a good thing actually. That you get human networks in all the companies. Like if you go from KDI, Goldman, Lehman, Deutsche Bank. So when you become 50, it could be your biggest selling point actually. So you have to. I mean, there are like pros and cons of changing jobs, but uh, if you are in operations or on IT side, then people are looking for depth actually. And when you get promotions, then because the systems and the processes and the amount of money that is being traded is very big actually. It's beyond your imagination, and if something goes wrong there, then the management wants people who will not run away and who
Mhm.
will fix it also in that kind of pressure. So that time actually your death comes into picture. So do not think that because it's a high moving industry that I can get away with newer skills and get a new job and get a raise. But that's going to only last for your younger age. But once you start getting older, then your death comes into picture, and your other side EQ comes into picture.
Yeah, it's interesting that you talk about the idea of, um, you know, solving problems, sticking with it, being a reliable person to those around you. When you are there doing that, then opportunities come because they
Yeah,
know they can rely on you.
yeah. It's like a dairy actually. The butter comes up out of naturally. You keep on moving the milk, and the butter will come out actually. There are a lot of tertiary products. So you only see milk, right? But there is yogurt, and there is like, paneer in India, and then you have the
Mm.
cheese and butter. So
Well, you're making me
yeah,
hungry.
it's going to be dinner time soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, I see a question. What qualifications, this is from Sidat, what qualifications did you gain in your journey and from which university?
I studied in the Bachelor of Engineering and Master of Technology from second year Government College of Engineering, that is called Vishwasvaraya National Institute of Technology in India, in electronics engineering.
And did you do any certifications along the way, or you just went straight into work and build your, experience?
Only Japanese level two.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
We were
Um,
so busy actually in the investment banking boom, building a platform software.
no
Actually,
time.
the software there is a lot of glamour to the outside world, but it's a long, time consuming job actually. I keep saying to my kids actually, taking backup only. They see that I have no, I'm not doing anything, but I'm actually even today I'm taking a backup. The biggest job for an IT manager is to take a backup which is reliable, because anything can happen anytime and you have to roll back. So,
Right.
and changes are happening every day.
Roll back.
Roll
Um,
back.
that let's see, we got another question from Davis. She says, I'm willing to study in Japan and hoping to crack MEXT. What are things I should look upon other than studies?
Basically, you have to get a confidence in speaking language first, because the language has is not like mathematics. You do it by eyes and then it goes to brain. The language goes from the ears actually. So once you get, I have a lot of I go to, I love Indian food, so I go to a lot of Indian restaurants. These now normally in Tokyo last 3 4 years they have been run by Nepalese people more than Indian. And Nepalese people and Japanese people, they have many things in common. They are very polite, and they are from mountains, and they look also similar Mongolian race. Uh, but the biggest quality with them is that they, they have uh, they have somehow cracked the code of Japan, and for them. The other day, I was having lunch at Palace Hotel, and I saw a Indian-looking guy coming to serve us, but he was from Nepal,
Mm,
and they pick up the language very fast. Even people from IIT, which is the premier institution in India, I have friends who have lived 28 years and they don't know Japanese, but Nepalese people come, and within 3 months they're just serving food and they can manage. So to answer your short question in a longer way, basically there has to be a need first of all, a strong urge to excel, because if somebody else is doing, I am doing, that doesn't actually justify what you're doing. Everybody's unique, so you have to
mm,
feel very deeper, and initially it's like aircraft, so you have to have a lot of thrust to take it off, and that trust should be used in understanding speaking. When we came, actually, it was very expensive because you have to buy a lot of dictionaries, books, and this and that. And books in Japan are very expensive.
mm.
But now it's all free. There are YouTube channels, and there are conversions and channels running from my local language, Marathi and Japanese. So there are YouTubers all over the place.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So first you go with your own native language and try to subscribe to that viewer. Try to follow it, and don't just restrict to the language, grammar, this and learn about Japan. Learn what these guys are doing. And maybe without learning Japanese, you will have a source of revenue, and that will add up to your learning again. So there are a lot of avenues now.
Mm. Yeah, when I came to Thailand in 1992, I there was pretty much one or two schools for learning Thai, and I went right away for the first 6 months. I got busy after that, but it gave me enough ability to read a bit and communicate and understand what was going on. And I think that's, good advice. If you want to be successful in any country, the more you can learn. I had
Yeah,
a point where I had to make a decision about, do I want to devote myself to learning more Thai or finance? And I realized that for me, I really wanted to devote myself to finance because I knew that was kind of global. I didn't know if I would be in Thailand forever,
yeah,
but I also knew that, I could make more money probably from,
yeah.
understanding finance.
When I came to Tokyo, when we came, me and my wife were just married, and uh, 28 years ago,
Mm,
we only came with one word. There's a word called sayonara. This song in Bollywood movie, Love in Tokyo. In my father's time, that movie was made, and everybody in India knows that one word, sayonara. But we never said sayonara to Japan. Sayonara is bye bye. And we had two suitcases, me and my wife, and now it has become so big.
yeah. I saw a message from one of my good friends in Nigeria, Suli, and he was talking about, he's been working on the CFA exam, but he talked about losing motivation recently, and I wonder if you have some thoughts about motivation and, when someone does lose motivation. I mean, I think that, our lives go in waves, and there are times that we're less connected, but I'm curious, what advice you would have for someone that says, I think I'm losing motivation right now in the thing that I'm doing.
Um, Actually, that's a very difficult one for me because I'm a blessed guy. I always had good people, and then always had uh, a moving industry. The IT is so excitement. It's a charged up environment. Investment banking charged up,
Mm,
entrepreneurship charged up. Now the social entrepreneurship. So if I had stuck to a very saturated kind of a environment, then the motivation is a very tough thing, and it's very individualistic actually. From India, we have a lot of processes, religious process, meditation, yoga, and all that. So we inherit that's part of our DNA. So that's one of the way to keep motivated. But I'm not preaching here Hinduism, right?
mm,
Uh, uh, so with your own religion, there might be ways to and basic thing is you have to understand the life actually. You should not become larger than life. These modern era illnesses like lack of motivation can come if you forget that you're alive also. So you enjoy and be with family and
mm.
try to get deeper into it. And there is one of the meditations called Vipassana meditation, which where for 15 days you Thailand is a big hub for that.
Yep.
And you don't talk for 15 days. And those can really work in different contexts.
Yeah, it's a good point to step back from your life when you
Yeah,
feel like everything's overwhelming. If you can take a break and go and do a retreat, a meditation, or something related to your church, or maybe volunteer and help
yeah,
other people, it helps to get yourself out of it. I
yeah.
remember when my sister died in 1998,
I'm sorry.
I came back to Thailand and I was depressed, and I ended up just volunteering and spending time with kids at an orphanage, and those kids just filled me up with energy and positive thinking because, they're just playing around and having fun, and you're thinking all the terrible things that are going on in their lives and they're having fun. I should be, grateful. And
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I think a good advice for that, when you're lacking motivation, is step back, take a look at your life, take a look at yourself, and, get some gratitude about what you've got. So, let's wrap up by asking you a question of, what are three pieces of advice that you would give a young person as they're trying to build a career in finance, career in engineering? It could be anything, but what advice would you give them?
um, there are a lot of opportunities. So one of the advice is to be 2G. One is be global and look for growth. And the second advice would be to skill up, but just maintain. Uh, just keep in mind that skills are not everything. You have to have good networking, personal relationships, and as I said, if you find good people, stick with them. Okay? Even if you don't grow, your life will be a pleasant experience working with them. Basically, we just think of corporate, but at the end we forget that we are human beings, right? So even if you don't achieve in life, but if you are surrounded by good people, so there are certain like our company, our team in Credit Agricole, it's like a intrapreneurship. There's a new word now. There's entrepreneurs outside, entrepreneurs. So if you join that kind of community, don't leave it. Even if
Mm,
you are actually lacking in terms of growth, don't leave, because it will be unique experience for your life. And life is just short. I mean, you won't realize that it's like 30 years have passed. And now we are looking for the end of your career and retirement. So it just passes so fast.
yeah,
But
it's
if you're part of a good team, then stick to it.
I think that's really great advice. You know, the idea you said something which is skills aren't everything. And I think a lot of people are feeling like skills are what's going to get them to the next level. Skills are important, but as you said, find good people and stick with them. And I think that's really great advice. Um, I'm gonna wrap up the show and say, first of all, thank you very much
Thank you.
for joining. Yeah, and I appreciate it very much, and to learn more about you and to get your advice. And in particular, I love that stick with good people. Find the good people and stick with them. You and I'll talk for a couple of minutes after this, but
Yeah, yeah.
I just want to thank everybody for joining, and remember also just to highlight for those people that the Careers in Finance is supported and brought to you by Valuation Masterclass Bootcamp. You can check out more by going to that QR code or that website. So, Manesh,
Thank you
Mahesh,
so much.
thank you. And it's great to see you. And thanks for everything that you've brought to our community. And we will end it there. That's it for Careers in Finance with Mahesh Deshpande.